Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about some forgotten pedals. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you're seeing, please feel free to like and subscribe. Today we're going to talk about two pedals that I got a long time ago, and they were really the first pedals that I got that had modulation or filtering effects in them. And I used them and I messed around with them and I loved them, but I didn't realize just how good they were until I started buying other pedals and realizing that all I was trying to do with the new pedals was find the sounds that I had in these old pedals. So here they are. These are the FM4 and the MM4 by Line 6. Now most of us know the green DL4, which the original version looks like this, just with a green casing, and it became such a fan favorite that Line 6 created a Mark II of this one pedal. They also had the DM4, which is an overdrive version of this, it's the yellow one, but I feel like not enough people are talking about these two right here. One of them does modulation effects like chorus, flanger, rotary, all that sort of fun stuff. And the other one does filter effects and can really give your guitar some really awesome synth sounds. So today I wanted to look over them and just show you a few of the tones that you can get and just kind of how ridiculously versatile these things are. So let's go ahead and take a look at them. From left to right, you have the selector. This is essentially your bank of different pedals that you have. Then you have the frequency of the start vowel, the frequency of the stop vowel, the speed at which it moves, the mode or the synth pitch, and then the mix of how much of your guitar tone and how much of the synth pitch will come through. Over on the MM4, we have, of course, the same thing, all the different options of pedals that you could possibly want, as well as the speed at which they will be affected, the depth, and then it has this tweak and tweeze, and that is what these stickers are for. It tells us with each one of the modeling options that you choose what the tweak does and what the tweeze does. And then of course the mix is how much of your guitar gets put into it. Over on this side, similar thing with the stickers, it tells us what each of these different knobs will do for each specific model. So let's go ahead and give them a listen. I have a couple presets on here. We're going to start with this nice tremolo. Now we're going to jump over to a rotary that you'll probably recognize. Here's a nice little phaser. Here's a pretty heavy chorus that you might recognize. And even with that, there's so many different sounds. I mean, you could just... You can imagine that with all of those different options, and if you got into each of these knobs and tweaked them, you could find endless sounds. And the same goes for the FM4. It's just built different because it's a filter effect. It's more of a synth sound. So here's a couple sounds that I have pre-saved and lined up. Really weird stuff, and obviously if you started tweaking things, I mean, I don't know where you're gonna find a use for that, but hey, it could be fun. The next one is one that I think you might recognize if you're a fan of John Mayer. And I mean, the same thing goes for this one. You could just go through all the dials and find a different sound on every turn. This next one is a little wild, and I'm just going to play it, mess around with it. You know, someone has a use for it somewhere. Those were all different notes, apparently. Like I said, weird stuff. That's very Jack White. So, I mean, obviously there's some really wild sounds in there, and they probably aren't for everybody. But at the same time, I mean, I've gotten so much use out of them over the years that I had to share them because everyone forgets about them. On top of that, on reverb, the MM4 goes for, I've seen it as low as about 135 for all of that. And the FM4 goes for a little bit more. I've seen it in the $200 to $300 price range. But I mean, if you count all the different models on there, there's 16 different models on each of the pedals. So really, if you were to buy two of these at their lowest price, you're gonna be spending about $350, but you'll be getting about 32 different pedals. And I know that there are other modelers out there that do this, but again, what I discovered is as I started buying more pedals and trying to find the sounds that I loved, I kept going back to these. So they're definitely worth checking out. I definitely recommend picking one up if you haven't. They do have stereo in, stereo out. They have an out for an expression pedal as well. And you have the 4 different memory banks that you can create and save presets. And it's a very tactile way to find new sounds. Now, they're not without some complications, of course. Their power is not standard. It's not a 9-volt DC thing. And so you either have to find a power source that works specifically for these pedals, or I know that like Pedal Power by Voodoo Lab has specific switches and sections for these pedals. And that's how I have them powered right now. On top of that, the jacks on the back are plastic, and so if they get hit or bumped like mine have, they tend to crack, and it's a little bit sketchy there. And they all have a tendency for these little washers to pop off or to unscrew. And that's why, like, on this one, I don't have a washer on it, and this one is missing a button completely. So they're not perfect, but they have some really nice sounds in there that are really easy to find if you like that tactile sensation, as opposed to like doing everything on a screen like you would do on a Helix or a Kemper or something like that. But what do you guys think about it? Do you own one? Have you ever used them before? Do you like the sounds that you heard today? Would you want to hear more? Let me know in the comments down below. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. It makes my day a little bit better. But even if you don't make my day better, go make someone else's day better. It will make your day better. My name is Mac Wright. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you around.